Generation 1 was the introduction to the main series Pokemon games, and it gave birth to one of the biggest franchises Nintendo has to offer. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow took the world by storm as they sold countless numbers of copies to Pokemon fans worldwide. Though the first Pokemon games were very successful in kicking out the franchise, something about them always felt incomplete or very glitchy. You can do various glitches to get to places, and honestly, some Pokemon were more overpowered than others. How a lot of these Pokemon were overpowered though was because of how move mechanics worked in Generation 1. There were moves in this generation that were just so broken and had to be changed in the future generations of Pokemon. Here to talk about those moves with me is Pokemon Glitch God Johnstone.
What is going on, guys? My name is John and welcome back to yet another video. Just like Mystic Umbreon, I also make top 10 videos, glitch videos, and Pokemon theories over on my channel, so if you like his kind of content, feel free to subscribe to both of our channels. In addition, you can watch the video that we worked on over on my channel where we do a top 10 on the strongest Pokemon in Generation 1. Today, we're going to cover the top 10 broken moves in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. All of these moves vary in reason as to why they're broken, but we try to do our best at giving a top 10. We'd love to hear your input on how you think we did, so feel free to put your own list in the comments section below. Without further ado, let's get started. At number 10, we have Focus Energy. Unlike a lot of other moves on this list, this move is broken for the wrong reasons. Normally, this move is meant to increase your chance at landing a critical hit in battle. However, due to a coding oversight, this move actually decreases your critical hit chance to 25% instead of multiplying it. Although this move isn't widely used by most people in the first place, it appeared in over 10% of the movesets in the Pokédex. Just like a lot of moves on this list, these accidental effects weren't fixed until Generation 2. This move, as well as the item Dire Hit, were completely useless until they updated in Gold and Silver. Although the move was completely useless, Game Freak actually added Focus Energy to Eevee's moveset in Pokemon Yellow. Nice job.
Okay, this one is gonna be kind of short. Number 9 is Blizzard. Blizzard is a pretty strong attack, right? 110 base power and 90 accuracy. That's pretty solid for a move like that. In the Japanese versions of the Generation 1 games, it had a 30% chance to freeze. That's mainly why it's number 9 because of the Japanese games. Otherwise, the same could be argued about Thunder and Fire Blast practically. It has 90 accuracy and a 30% chance to freeze in the Japanese games. That's pretty much why it's number 9 on the list.
Just like Focus Energy, Fly and Dig had side effects due to a bad coding error. These moves take two turns, one to start the move and one where they attack. During the first turn, they're immune to any move until they appear back on screen. If the user is paralyzed and uses either Fly or Dig, the game will keep the Pokemon in that state of invulnerability if it's fully paralyzed on the second turn. This effect will stay until the end of the match unless the user swaps out, successfully hits Fly or Dig, or gets hit with Swift or Transform, the only two moves in the game that can never miss. We place this one a lot lower on the list because the fact that the odds of this happening is relatively low considering all the factors that have to happen. But over 30% of the Pokédex can learn either one of these moves, so we had to include this on the list.
Cutting in the number 7, we have the move Slash. This move has a very high chance to critical, and it can be very deadly if it is done by a fast Pokemon. Back in Generation 1, critical hits were based around speed, meaning that the faster the Pokemon, the higher percentage it had for a critical hit. Basically, if you have a fast Pokemon with Slash, you're shredding teams with Slash, especially if you have a normal type. I think a prime example of how well Slash works is with Persian. Persian has base 115 speed, and Slash has a high chance to crit, with the addition of Persian's speed and normal typing. I love this move. It's super fun to run in the Generation 1 meta. Try it out on Showdown.
And for number 6, we chose multiple hitting moves. These moves have a low base power and about 75% accuracy on average, but they allow the user to attack between 2 to 5 times in one turn. When Game Freak coded this type of move, they based the power of the attacks on whatever damage the first hit dealt. This means that if you land a critical hit on your first attack, every consecutive attack will do the same amount of damage despite not saying it was a critical hit. Critical hits are based on speed, which gave a huge advantage to fast Pokemon. Because Jolteon is the fastest Pokemon in the game, Pin Missile had a large impact on the metagame. Barrage, Comet Punch, Double Slap, Fury Swipes, and Spike Cannon also had the same effect, which could be taught to 41 different Pokemon.
I wish I could say we are going out with a bang, but unfortunately this is not number 1 on the list. However, I can say that we start numbers 5 through 1 with a bang, and as you may have guessed, number 5 is Explosion. This move has 250 base power. That's a lot of power, and that's also a lot of damage. See what I did there? It can almost, if at any time, take out the Pokemon in one hit, especially if it isn't rock type. 250 base power is a lot, but there's a downside. The user knocks itself out directly after the attack is done. This can come in handy with a fast Pokemon like Electrode if you want to get in there and do some really fast and hard-hitting damage. That's pretty much all it's handy for.
At number 4, we have the move Spore. This move puts the opponent to sleep, allowing you to attack or play mind games with your opponent to switch to another Pokemon. Sleeping moves were extremely powerful in Red, Blue, and Yellow due to the fact that when you wake up, it counts as your turn. Because you can't attack, the opponent can just use Spore or another sleeping move again to constantly trap them until they knock them out. In addition, until Generation 3, sleeping could last up to 7 turns. Unlike the other moves of this kind, Spore is the only sleeping move that is 100% accurate. Only Paris and Parasect could learn this move at the time, but don't forget that Hypnosis, Sleep Powder, and Lovely Kiss were still in the game. Pokemon like Jinx ran havoc in the competitive scene because it was one of the fastest sleep users in the game.
I remember this move being so broken back in Generation 1, and that move is Hyper Beam. A lot of you are probably asking, okay, it does 150 base damage. That's great, it's powerful, but don't you have to recharge when it's done? Yes, if you don't secure the knockout. In Generation 1, you still have to recharge Hyper Beam, but if you were able to take out the enemy, guess what? You don't have to recharge. That means if you're able to take out the majority of Pokemon on an opponent's team in one hit, Hyper Beam wouldn't have to charge once. Well, maybe 5 Pokemon because Hyper Beam only has 5 power points. But yeah, if you're able to use Hyper Beam efficiently, count on some sweeps, especially with a Pokemon like Snorlax. That stab normal attack, my Arceus.
These next moves are some of the most annoying moves in Generation 1. And if you played Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow back in the day, you definitely know about these moves. The 4 constricting moves, Wrap, Bind, Clamp, and Fire Spin attack the user and make them unable to attack during that turn. The only issue with this move is that it can last 2 to 5 turns, making the opponent a punching bag until the move is ended. These kinds of moves played a large part in many of the important battles in the main story. Brock, Erica, Blaine, Lorelei, and even your rival have at least one of these moves ready for battle. Unlike future generations, you can actually switch out to another Pokemon to be freed from one of these trapping moves. But if you're on your last Pokemon and they have a fast Pokemon like Rapidash or Tentacruel, then you're kinda out of luck.
Okay, so before we get into number 1, I have some honorable mentions for the list that I want to be sure to input. All of the one-hit KO moves. Now, I know that a lot of these moves actually don't have the best of accuracy, but I thought I would just go ahead and add them because why not? They're one-hit KO moves, and they destroy things in one shot. Honorable mention number 2, Fire Blast and Thunder. Practically the same exact thing as Blizzard, except they don't have that really high chance to freeze. But I mean, hey, 120 base power for both of these attacks is actually pretty freaking solid, so I'm not gonna lie. Honorable mention number 3, Self-Destruct. Does the same exact thing pretty much as Explosion does, except with a little less power. Kind of like that whole fast get out kind of thing. Electrode can get self-destruct. It's pretty fun to use. Just be careful with it. Pretty much the same exact reason as Explosion. Anyways, guys, on the number 1. Hope you enjoy. So I am sure, as a lot of you guys know, the special stat was considered as one stat in Generation 1. The move Amnesia boosts a special attack by a few stages, and once this move is applied even only once, your primary special attack Pokemon is ready to go. Any Pokemon with an already high special attack stat is going to sweep only after one Amnesia. Have fun. This attack is the most overpowered and broken in our opinion. Well, that pretty much wraps up this list of the Generation 1 broken moves. I remember dealing with these moves as a kid and how much it frustrated me, especially dealing with Wrap. Now that I look back on it as a kid, I'm glad I didn't know the effects of some of these attacks because I feel they would have demotivated me to play Pokemon. What do you guys think though? Are these moves considered as broken to you as they are to us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, big shout out to John for joining me in this video. If you guys want to watch more overpowered videos about Generation 1, go check out the video we did over on John's channel, where we did the list of the top 10 strongest and most overpowered Pokemon in Generation 1. I'll link to that video video will be in the description and in the iCard. Don't forget to subscribe either. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like shiny hunting, showdown battles, Octopath Traveler, Pokemon Mr. Dungeon, Explorers of Sky speedruns, Mario, Fire Emblem, a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. Want to support me further and gain cool perks? Check out my Patreon. Fly Jubilee, Dan Leone, and Lady Crimson did, and I wanted to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.